This video I'm going to be comparing the Beetlejuice franchise to the Little Mermaid franchise because in part 1 of this series I compared Beetlejuice to Enchanted, Beetlejuice 1. I compared Little Mermaid to Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid 1. When you look at highest score for each franchise, the original Beetlejuice from Tim Burton has an 83%. When you look at Little Mermaid, you actually got two films in this franchise with the highest score. These two films have a 91%, that being Splash from the 1980s as well as the 1989 Disney Renaissance classic. Now, less people may be familiar with the movie Splash. This is a different take on The Little Mermaid. It's about this mermaid from under the sea who comes up to the surface. She is a fish out of water, meets a guy there. The two of them end up falling in love. Humans learn about this mermaid, and then the mermaid goes back under the sea. Splash doesn't have a character that's the equivalent to King Triton, doesn't have an underwater kingdom in it. Maybe you see one in the last minute in the movie, but it's not in there the way it is in Disney's version of the story. You also don't have a character that's the equivalent to Ursula. You don't have the animal friends to our mermaid. So a lot of the more fantastical elements of this story are not present in Splash. There's actually this version from Japan that came out in 1975, which unfortunately has no score at all on Rotten Tomatoes. I really enjoy this one. It's definitely closer in tone to the original Hans Christian Andersen story, so it's darker, unlike Disney's take on Little Mermaid. Now, when it comes to the lowest score for each franchise, Beetlejuice that came out this year has a 76%, which is still certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, so still very good. Little Mermaid 2 Return to the Sea only has a 20%. When you look at average score for each franchise, Beetlejuice is an average of 79, Little Mermaid is an average of 60. Then when you look at gap between lowest and highest score, well, you got gap of 71 in the case of Little Mermaid, and a gap of 7 in the case of Beetlejuice. Little Mermaid has won. Beetlejuice, has won every round so far, so we'll be winning no matter what. Now, when it comes to my personal opinion, well, this one's actually not very difficult for me at all. I'm easily going to pick Beetlejuice over Little Mermaid. Part of that is you have two theatrically released films, whereas with the Little Mermaid franchise, you have a few direct-to-video films. But also, I really enjoy both Beetlejuice movies. They're definitely very distinct. They don't feel generic at all. You watch them and go, yeah, these movies could only come from Tim Burton. They have his weird, quirky, offbeat style to them. There's a feeling of chaos that's present in both movies. There's a zaniness to them. So inherently, it's not going to be for everybody, but I really enjoy this kind of film that's different, it's offbeat. With Beetlejuice, I actually got to see this film in theaters and thought it was a proper follow-up to the original film that captured the chaotic energy you want from a Beetlejuice movie, and I'm very impressed by how much Michael Keaton just effortlessly slid back into that role as Beetlejuice. The fact that he was able to capture the quirkiness, the weirdness, the energy that you want from this character. And also, I think both films wisely don't have Beetlejuice be in the movie for too long, because the filmmakers clearly know that inherently this is a character that, if around for too long, is going to become grating. I think the films know how to use this character just the right amount to make it so he's a great spice in there, but it's not overdone. I think the visuals in both movies are really good. You remember the way that these different creatures look, in particular, the way the sandworms look is pretty interesting. I like the acting in both movies. Neither one of them are really about the plot. That's not what you care about with Beetlejuice. It's about the atmosphere, the world, the characters, the production, set design, all that good stuff. I think that Beetlejuice, yeah, there's definitely too much going on. The film could have been improved if you just did more work on the script, cut some things out, just tighten up the movie. But I still definitely thought it worked. Now, when it comes to Little Mermaid, I think the Disney Renaissance classic is very good. It's not my favorite of the four classics. I didn't own it on VHS tape like I did with Lion King and Beauty and the Beast, so I don't have the same amount of nostalgia for it. I don't like how dumb Ariel is in this movie. The fact that she and the prince just get married right at the end. But it's still definitely very iconic, and I think the live action remake is one of the better Disney live action remakes. Definitely has its flaws. It's too long. The visuals in the first part when you're under the sea don't look very good. When you're talking about Ariel's animal friends, like Ursula, no, I mean Flounder, Sebastian, you run into the same problem the Lion King ran into, where these photorealistic animals can't have distinct, memorable personalities because they can't emote, they just have blank faces. But I like how this movie did some things to flesh out the romance, make it more believable than it was in the original film. I'm a big fan of Splash. I had a good time with the direct to video follow ups, but I think that fair to say they're definitely not as good as the other films in this franchise. I mean, Beetlejuice is more consistent, thus, I'm easily going to pick it, which means it's won every round so far. That'll be it for this video.